קדוש, everybody welcome, בעזרת השם ברכה, הצלחה, בריאות לכל המסובים, מולו ששון, שמחו, וגם את הקריו דניאל בן מיכואל, התחתן בשנה הזה בעזרת השם, וגם אברהם ארקדי בן אולגה, בריאות, ניסים בן בכור, אליהו בן בכור, כל עם ישראל שיראו ישועות, וגם שלומי בן ראיה רחל, בעזרת השם תן לו הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכה, הצלחה, בריאות, הרבה דסייעתא דשמיא, החבר ידידנו, וגם את 1000 הבדלות בין המתים לחיים, כל הנפטרים ונפטרות בשנה הזה, whoever is not able to say Kaddish, so Hashem lift the souls. So we talked about previous shiur, how a person should not be confused. Confusion is one of the things a person cannot do. Confused. Why a person getting confused? Pizizut, which means he's fast and quick. Behilut also means that he's afraid. He has afraid, and he has bilbul adat, which means he's confused. כך גם לכך לתלמוד מאוד במידה היישוב מתונות בשעת הבהילה. רצונו בעת אשר ידרושו להיות נחפש. He says when a person also learning is very important, he needs to be calm. Calmness in a learning is the success, to the key to the success. To remember a lot of things, a person has to be calm. What means not calm? Not calm, which means is all the time worry. While learning, he's worry. Worry about the rent, worry about the mortgages, worry about the tuition. He's worry. Once inside the yeshiva, he needs to stop worrying. Because the more we worry, we cannot fix the problem. The more we worry, we cannot concentrate. The more we worry, we can make wrong decisions, God forbid. מצינו בחטא העגל שבו השטן יררב העולם והוראה לכם מיתתו של משה רבנו עליו השלום. We see when we did an עגל הזהב, a golden calf, the Chazal says in the Masechet Shabbat, in page 89, he says, what happens? Satan showed to Moshe Rabbeinu, right here, Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, and there's no more leader. What do you mean you have no leader? You have Aaron HaKohen, Rodev Shalom, Ohev Shalom. Aaron HaKohen was the Gdol Ador. But the Satan showed to Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. Oh, they say Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, we need another leader. Why can't you have leader Aaron HaKohen? When Aaron HaKohen passed away, 30,000 kids was named after Aaron HaKohen. 30,000 kids. When the Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, Jewish people did not call after Moshe Rabbeinu like they called after Aaron HaKohen. Aaron HaKohen, what he used to do? Peace. He was with the Am Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu was a little bit further from Am Yisrael. Aaron HaKohen was together. So what they said, listen, Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, we need to make an idol. So what Am Yisrael did? Am Yisrael did, unfortunately, Egel HaZahav. And until today's date, why we bury people? Because of this Egel HaZahav. We're suffering today sicknesses. All the things because we weren't careful. And we had no patience. רואה לכם מיתתו משה רבנו, אבל היה לכם לחזק דעתם באמונה נאמן השם. He says they're supposed to have instead of emunah, believe in Hashem, they right away want to do something different. And that's what person, when he's quick and fast, make a decision quick and fast, and that could be a sin. אבל לא יאחר לפי השעה, שחובת המידד מתינות עם יישוב הדת יחד בעת הפחד הבהילה, גזרת המלך העליון. A person has to be patient, and he has to don't make a rational and fast decision. We tend to, as a human, especially living in the United States of America, we make decisions fast and quick. And we want things to be done also fast and quick. The faster we do it, the quicker we do it, the better we fall so quick and fast. אדמו"ר הסבא מקלם ביור הכתיב וישא העם את בצקו בטרם יחמיץ משורותיו צרורות בסמלותם על שכמם. Says we came out from Egypt. How did we came out from Egypt? Moshe Rabbeinu did not say, hello, you have another 10 months to prepare. He says, today, everybody coming out from Egypt. Today, not tomorrow, not yesterday. You don't have time. So everybody took the batzek, which means they took the dough. And that's how the matzah became matzah, because the faster you work on matzah, it's not going to be yachmitz. It's not going to go sour. It's not going to go chametz. So why did Moshe Rabbeinu we said to be fast and quick, it's not good. Over here, Moshe Rabbeinu tells them to come out of the Egypt, you need to be fast and quick. You don't have no time. You don't have sell houses, nothing. We need to come out. At midnight we came out. He says, why is that? לחלן עוד, וגירשו ממצרים ולא יכולו להתמהמה, והצדה לא עשו להם. They did not prepare when we came out from Egypt. Preparation, no preparation. Why is that? Why is that? Why did Moshe Rabbeinu make? In the one hand, you're telling us you should not make fast decision, quick decision. In the other hand, Moshe Rabbeinu takes out the people from Egypt without no preparation. And did not even prepare for the future, the Jewish nation. They just came out. Halo kativ leshmurim hu. This is the night of the Pesach. It's the night of Hashem watching us. Which means, that's why we open the door. We says Eliyahu Hanavi. That's why we have some custom to put Eliyahu Hanavi. This is according to Ashkenazim. Vilna Gaon says this. A lot of people does not say this. To put a course for Eliyahu Hanavi, which means with the wine to put a cup, and so the Eliyahu Hanavi comes and bless that cup. שזה הלילה שומר להם להוציאת מצרים. Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman says, Hashem keeps us and watches in the night of the Mitzrayim. נמצא שעת יציאת מצרים הייתה מוכנה וידעת להם מקודם. He says, Hashem prepared for us to come out from the Egypt already before we already come out from the Egypt. הלא זה לכם כלל חידוש, הפתע. He says, for Am Israel, it was very, very unknowingly that we're going to come out from Egypt. Peta, piton, which means without knowing. Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, he says, come out everybody. He says, why the Jewish people came out b'chipazon kazeh? Why they came out so quick out of the Egypt? Why? למה לא ציווה הקדוש ברוך הוא למשה להם שיפו את הבצק בעוד מועד לפני שלא יכלו להתמהם? He says, let the matzah that we did, we didn't do it in Egypt. We came out and we did the matzah. He says, do your matzah, do your Pesach Seder night, then come out. Why this so quick and fast? Why we have to do it? ואמרו הזה הסבא, כי הקדוש ברוך הוא שים אותם במצב כזה. He says, הקדוש ברוך הוא puts us in this situation. לבחינה להכנה. He says, he's testing us and prepare us. ראשונה לקבל את תורה. He says, to accept the Torah. How are we supposed to accept the Torah? The way Hashem commands Moshe Rabbeinu. שאם מצב זה ישבור אותם, ואינם מעמד, כי אז ראיה שאינם מסוגלים לתכלית יציאת מצרים. He says, if he would not take them out of the Mitzrayim the way he did fast and quick, Yetziat Mitzrayim also represents we were in Egypt, we're under the Yetzer Hara. So what happens, Moshe Rabbeinu? Hashem commandment, take them out fast and quick. If they're not going to work with fast and quickness, he says, forget about, they're never going to come out of the Egypt. Never going to come out of the Egypt. So what is it teaching us? Sheyeh Kabbalat Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu says after we came out of Egypt, 40 days we accepting the Torah. הנדרשת מנוחה קרובה מטעם עצם סגולתו. He says, when we came out from Egypt, Moshe Rabbeinu also wants us to prepare, so we'll have menucha. Menucha, which means peace of mind, rest. Because 210 years, we weren't resting. We were all the time working day and night. The guy was doing the husband was doing the wife job, the wife doing the husband job. And that's why the Egypt was built the way they were built, so quick and fast. גם שיהיה זה מצב יכול לשברם אין ביטחון כלל בחזקה את התורה וקיומה. He says if Moshe Rabbeinu would not take the Jewish people out of the Egypt so quick and fast, he would said he would never take them out. He would never. Let's take one of the scenarios. We're in a Bet Knesset. In a Bet Knesset, which means we're in a shul. There's how many opinions inside the people Jewish nation? 1,000 opinions. If Moshe Rabbeinu would have said, listen, we're coming out in 5 months, you would have said, listen, hey, I have business to take care over here. Another year, the other guy says, excuse me, my kids, my wife, my kids just got married over here, they're going to stay in Egypt. Oh, listen, I just came to Egypt, I moved from another country, let me just take care of a couple things. How many opinions we would have had? You would never come out of the Egypt. Because we have so many different minds. And we tend to have so many different minds. If we're going to prove our mind that we are right, you ever seen people say whatever they say they're wrong? Say, I'm right. Moshe Rabbeinu, we will come out. That's why the Moshe Rabbeinu said the way he said it. Because sometimes you take the nation, you need to take it quick and act fast. There's no time. Because we have different mind, different opinions. And we're going to continue being in our opinions and our mind. לכן ניתן לכם זה בחינה, כי לא הוגד לכם כלל מקודם על הגידוש ומרוצה, בלי שום הכנה מוקדמת. Moshe Rabbeinu says, he does not want Jewish people to prepare when it comes to Kedusha. Kedusha, which just means you want to go Shacharit, Mincha, Aravit, you want to come learn Torah, there's no preparation. You need to go and do it. Why? Because the Yetzer Hara have 1,000 excuses. I'm tired. I was working 15 hours. I had a bad client. I had a good client. Listen, I'm too tired. I'm going to go. I'm going to go home. I'm going to do other stuff. So we hear the Chazal says when it comes to Kedusha, when it comes to holiness, we need to put a step. And we need to be fast and quick. If we're not acting fast and quick, we're sleeping. So the most important thing is not to sleep. That's the most important thing. Ma'adam shkatam v'shum הפיזון לא נמנע אותם כלום, אלא נשארו כל המנוחות. אז נבחר ברור שהם מסוגלים באמת לקבלת תורה. כי מטרה אחת ללכת אחר השם להידבק פה. יעטוב ומוכן. He says the whole point that Moshe Rabbeinu took out the Jewish people out of the Egypt, only one reason. So they would connect to Hashem and they will work for Hashem all their life. That was the whole reason. So it says over here, bothers me. It says over here, this beautiful mashal, beautiful example or sample. Choleh halokech rufuot. He says a person is sick. Person is sick. And a doctor prescribes him prescription. Tzarich leochol bazmano. When a doctor prescribes for the person prescription, does he has to eat this drink or swallow this prescription on time or not on time? What he has to do? On time. So what if he's going to miss one day? Some people call me during the Yom Kippur time. It happens a lot. Listen, Rabbi, my doctor prescribed me antibiotics. What am I going to do in Yom Kippur? I say one day, because you miss one day in the antibiotics, nothing going to happen to you. So it says, לוקח רפואה בזמנה, אך זה אין תכלית של ימין, כל ימין נהג כך. He says, that's not the point for the sick person to be all the time in the pills. The whole point is, one day that sick person getting healed. רק ייקח רפואות כדי ירפא שיכול להנהג בלי סדר. He says the reason he's giving him the medication, so he's able to heal himself and he will continue without the medication. היינו פעם יתענה כל היום, פעם לא ישתה כל היום. He says, what happens with a person? One day he does not drink, one day he does not eat. פעם לא ישן כגון במקרה באונס, אף על פי יהיה בריא. He says, when a person does not sleep, does not eat, or does not drink, he's considered בריא. בריא, which means healthy or not healthy. וזה גם כן בעבודת השם יתברך. ילגיל עצמו בסדר לימן יבריא ויעמוד על יכולת גולם בלי סדר. He says when we're working for Hashem, we does not need to have a seder. Seder, which means because we got used to things. When a person getting used to things, it's very hard for him to get out of these things that he got used to. Hergel, which means continue doing the same thing. Okay, I come 8 o'clock to shiur, I come to 8 o'clock to shacharit mincha aravit. This is my time. This is called hergel. Hergel, which means a person has to be hergel. He needs to, when he's continue being the same way, he needs to add. You understand? When he's adding, it's very easy for him to switch from one side to another. For example, one of the prime examples, right? You have a one Bet Knesset, and in this Bet Knesset you go 40 years. How many of you guys who are sitting over here, how many of you change your Bet Knesset? Mincha Aravit you pray one shot, Shacharit you pray over there, Shabbat you pray. We're all the time switching, we're all the time in a galut. That gives us not to be in one place. And that gives us, we could, if something change gonna happen to the person, we're able to change right away. Why? Because we're all the time moving. We're not staying in the same place. If we stay in one place, we get used to it, we get comfortable with people, and we cannot, something wrong gonna happen, we're all, God forbid, we're gonna break. But that's the best thing happen. When a person moves from one place to another, that means he's adding, and he does not feel that he's uncomfortable. Let's say you're gonna tell to people, listen, God forbid today you're not going to do the same way that you did yesterday. People are going to go crazy. One of the things that happened, COVID. What's the thing that happened? They said everybody closed down inside the house. Nobody could come out. Excuse me. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Correct? When a person comes to this situation, what happens? And by the way, if you guys sitting over here, right here, doctor sitting over here, and we did Chanukah Habayit in his house during the COVID. During the peak of the COVID. And the doctor is working himself during the COVID. During the peak of the COVID. Not that he has to work during the COVID. He's not a surgeon. He does not work in an emergency. That means he's able to change. למען בריא יעמוד על יכולת גלם בלי סדר, כגון בתרדה יהיו ריאות מסודרים, במעשה לא יהיה אפשר, אבל במחשבות יהיה דבוק בטוב. It says a person goes to ups and downs in life. There's no life since ups and downs. It's how he's going to take this ups and downs. It depends on a person. It depends how he train himself. It all depends on a training. עודרנו בצק ממים כפר. והנה זנו מבקשים פדינו ממהמות מוות ואחרי כל הנוסגה. כי על ידי מהומה עלול עצמית אדם לאבד, ליפול חס ושלום מרגע רמה לבריא עמיקתה, שיצר הרע יסגור אכול מכל הטוב. He says, people tend to fall in Yetzer Hara very quickly and fast. How are you supposed to save yourself from Yetzer Hara? Chazal telling us, the only way you're able to save yourself from Yetzer Hara is by learning Torah. Why learning Torah is very important, and it's one of the 630 mitzvot? Because when you learn, you're able to do it. If you don't learn, how are you able to do it? The only way you're going to do it is by learning. You're learning, you continue learning, and you're going more further and further. ודבר זוי מצוי מאוד רחמנן ליצלן בעת פטירתה אדם מן העולם. He says a person is very, very quickly to fall into Yetzer Hara. When it comes to the Olam Haba, to share in the world to come, because over here, when we came to the United States of America, how many years do you think my parents prepared to come to the United States of America? They thought a lot. My parents just built a brand new house in 1993. We came in 95. We bought just a beautiful house. What's going to happen? How many years I'm pretty thinking my parents were thinking to come to the United States of America? I don't know, but a couple years at least they were thinking, should we come? Should we not come? Should we come? Should we not come? How much preparation needs to be done to come from one country to another? A lot, right? A lot of preparation. A lot of thinking. Correct? How many years we live here to be prepared so much, our mind? 60, 70, 80. Can you imagine that we go to a share in the world to come, which is we're never going to come back here again, unless, God forbid, we're going to do a sin, we're going to come back here again. But what if a person that's not going to come here again? How many years is going to be upstairs? Forever. So what's the preparation we did for a forever world? What are we going to take with us? What kind of package we're going to take with us? What are we going to say, Ribono Shel Olam? What we did? Huh? If that's the case, we're laughing. Avraham Avinu, it says about Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu, when he takes the Akidat Yitzchak, he says, Shuvu lachem im hachamor. You're reading every Shacharit. Avraham Avinu says to the Ishmael, to his son, sit with here with the donkey. That's what he tells him. The Chazal says, U'asa ma'aseh Sidom. He had relationship with the donkey. That's what he says, Shuvu lachem im hachamor. That's what he did. Arizal says because he did that, he became reincarnation, Gilgul, Chamor Shel Bil'am. Bil'am had a donkey, and he had opposite now. Now the Bil'am having the Maaseh Sedom, he was doing the relationship with the donkey. Then this donkey cannot able to fix, this donkey came as a Gilgul Ishmael. Of the Bil'am came Gilgul of Ishmael. Arizal says, then from the Ishmael, the Gilgul, that donkey, he came to the Jew, Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. He came the Gilgul, the donkey. He says, whatever the Maaser, the fruits in Eretz Israel, needs to have a Maaser given part to the Kohen. Kash, Teven, which means the hay that's supposed to be feed the animal, the donkey of Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, it got stolen by the robbers. And he did not eat for 3 days. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair tells him, go open the door. My donkey is coming, give him food. He tells to the Talmidim. They give him the food, a hay. He's not eating a hay. He's not eating the hay. He was 3 days hungry. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair says, because you didn't take out the maaser, you don't take out to the animals maaser, you don't need that. He says, he's makpid, he says, you take out the maaser, then he's going to eat. And he ate. The Chazal says over there, he fixed himself, Ishmael, that he became as a donkey. Imagine, God forbid, if a person does mistakes. Why are we telling this? If he does mistakes, he needs to come back here again. But sometimes he's not going to come back as a human. Sometimes he could come out as a donkey. Sometimes he comes to a toilet paper, God forbid. Sometimes he comes out as a table. Arizal has a whole list what a person comes. Person does not do natilat yadayim. He eats bread without natilat yadayim. He says he becomes gilgul as a water. What if a person becomes, he wants to look all the time at ladies. He says gilgul, him, chicken. Next gilgul is going to be chicken. Chicken. Because why he does, he's always looking. He says if he's having relationship with other ladies, God forbid, he becomes as an eagle. Why eagle? He says because the eagle always looking for predators, how to kill him. Padel. Also, how you say padel? Something is not killed by itself, which is died, and that's what ego is looking. And Arizal goes on a list. Of the list, what a person does, and what's the punishment? Shara gilgulim. Black and white. Black and white. And he says, black and white, Talmidei Chachamim come gilgul. Why they come gilgul? It's hard to believe. Listen, I never heard such a thing in my life. What is there such a thing as shul? We don't need to go further away. Arizal was 500 years ago. There's a book called Minchad Yehuda of Yehuda Pitaya. You open his book. It's full of these stories. And they're true. They're not something that is Baba Maise. Baba Maise, which just means, oh, some rabbi told me. It's the true story. Same thing, Abu Chatzira. They have stories of Rav Yaakov Abu Chatzira, Baba Sali, grandfather. He did many things that people will go not believe what he says over there. And he says everything he wrote in a book. So a person have to think, am I supposed to come here again as a Gilgul reincarnation to fix myself? Or should I not come again to this world and how to fix myself? That's the whole point of coming. If Hashem wants us to have barbecues and parties, He would have left us in Gan Eden. We would have had every day barbecues and parties. If that's what He wants you to come here, I don't think He wants you to come here for that. I don't think my mother was carrying me in her stomach for 9 months in order for me to have and enjoy in this world. We could enjoy it, but everything has to be proportional. Odreno batzeg v'hine pitirat adam min ha'olam. Rabbeinu Naftali מאמסטרדם, זיכרונת צדיק קדוש מברכה, סיפר בעבודה מוסרת בבית תלמוד תורה בכרם. שתי תקופות של עבודה. He says, Rabbi Naftali, he says 2 things a person has to know how to work to Hashem. One of the 2 ways. Bakerem, which means the city in Poland. Barishona avdo anahara seder kol matzav inyanim. The first thing he needs to put in his head, I'm working for Hashem in any given situation and every given moment. Any moment and situation, I'm working for Hashem. Things happen in life, but don't think that He's gonna separate us between Hashem. Things happen. We have to know how to eat it. How we go to work? Sick, not sick. Unless, God forbid, somebody, we have to run. Listen, by the end of the month, we have to pay mortgage or rent, the car insurance. We have to pay. We have to do it. So Chazal says, any given moment and situation, it's hard for you, you have to do it. And a moment's going to be in a person's life that is going to be, God forbid, hard. Vilna Gaon alav shalom, his daughter passed away in the day of the wedding of her wedding. Vilna Gaon, his daughter passed away in the day of wedding. What do you think he did? And what do you think he said? Vayishtok vayidom Vilna Gaon. He said nothing. His mother came in a chalom, in a dream, and she said, you have no idea where your daughter is standing. He did not say, listen, I'm a giant. What happened to my daughter? What happened to my students? Nothing. Nothing. You understand? This is called learning from Chachamim. How can it possibly be on a wedding day somebody passing away? Everybody's gathered. Odamo, what the people going to say? This is the Vilna Gaon. Said nothing. This is called Chachamim. Chachamim able to work in any given situation and every given moment. But when it comes to us, oh, what's my son, or my daughter, or what we say? Shalom Bayit, my wife, Zana, my wife, every 2 minutes. Sheker. If your wife, you should switch now. You should she could put a pants, chas v'shalom, and you could put a skirt. We make excuses when we need to have excuses. Excuses, upstairs that's not going to work. Only in this world. You could tell me excuses, you could tell to your rabbi, to the teachers, but upstairs there's no excuses. It's straight, they're going to ask you a question, you did it or you did not do it. So a person says, Rabbi John, you know, I do chesed, I do kindness. I'm a good guy. You know why I'm a good guy? When it's snowing outside or raining, I take people from the bus stop and I take them to the train. They don't have to wait in the freezing cold weather. I'm a good guy. I do good deeds. Okay. But time to time I steal from government. But when a government catches me, a person, and he comes to the judge and he says, excuse me, Your Honor, judge, I'm a good person. You know how many good deeds I do? I deliver food to the hospital. I take people from the bus stop to the train. Please forgive me for all the things that I did. I stole from the government. What the judge gonna say? Very good. We're gonna forgive you, and you're gonna continue doing what you're doing. Correct? What the judge gonna say? The judge gonna say, yeah, okay, we heard you, but you know we have a law in the country. You cannot break the law. You have to pay the payment. So same thing we in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If we thinking that, listen, I'm a good guy, I'm going to come upstairs and I'm going to say whatever a couple good deeds I did. Okay, you did it. Goyim also does it. Some Goyim also does a good deed. But we cannot have like a Goyim. We have Goyim, how many mitzvot? Have 7. How many mitzvot? We have 613. But we say, I don't steal, Rabbi. That's one of the 613 mitzvot. I never lied to nobody. I don't know about that. Lying to somebody, he needs to be tzaddik. There's no person, he needs to work and not to lie. But the person says, I'm not lying, that's not true. So let's go forward. Ha'etzah. Saba Mikelem giving us advice. Harotze ledaber o la'asot. A person wants to do or wants to speak. Im ro'eh shehu nimaer o nivhal lizeh, yichvosh retzo la'asot et hazman. So a person has to make specific time. Timing is the most important thing. We cannot waste time. Timing, yesterday I was 13, today I'm 40, tomorrow I'm 50, 60, 70, time passed by. And we don't have time. I don't know how you people thinking. We don't have time. The more people does parties when he's 70, 80, or 90, he needs to worry how he's going to go upstairs. He needs to be worried. He's 90, he's building 100-story building in Miami. He's 90. Then he's going to leave to somebody else. Zaftu zanam, bacho. This is the totzaot. This is the end up product, whether religious or not religious, God forbid. יכבוש רצונו לעשות אחר הזמן, יפרע לו זה דבר מחשבתו ומעשיו, שהוא עושה, כאשר הטבע שהוא בהול, לדבר בלבול מאוד משאר מעשיו, על כן ירגל שלא יתבלבל. Most of the people, he says, confused, בלבול, confused. He says, why they're confused? Because they don't have a set schedule. They're confused. Whether they're confused in a speech, whether they're confused by their deeds. So why the person becomes confused? One of the things a person becomes confused because he's not have a emunah, which just means it's not foundation of emunah. What do you mean? I believe and trust in God. Listen. Emunah v'bitachon is two different things. Emunah, which is means, I trust Hashem, I believe it. But things happen in life. The bitachon, which is means, I know 100% Hashem will do it. Emunah, everybody have. 8 billion people, you ask anybody, even Goyim, do you believe in God? Yes. Correct, they say. So how are you supposed to work to believe in God? Where's the path? You know, things gonna happen in a family, things gonna happen with the partners. Am I gonna see the God over there or no? I'm gonna make my own decision. So that's where the emunah v'bitachon comes. Emunah v'bitachon, it takes a lot of years for a person to get used to emunah v'bitachon. Emunah v'bitachon only gonna come through learning. Musar, not just halachot, only through musar. Ethics, emunah v'bitachon is gonna come. Without emunah v'bitachon, we cannot move. We cannot do anything. איש אשר טבע חם מאוד, וזאת הוא מובהל ביותר כאשר יצא לדבר איזה דיבור או לעשות, איזה מעשה, אין מעצור לרוחו. He says sometimes a person, his nature is very warm or hot. Where does the hotness come from? Or also he's muvhal. Muvhal, which is means he's lost. He's lost. כאשר יצא איזה דבר, what if a person wants to do something in life? Or some deed he wants to do. וכל תחבולות לא יועיל לעצור בעת חפצו ותשוקתו. He says, when a person wants something, אין דבר עומד מפני הרצון. If he wants something, it's going to happen 100%. Why? Because his nature is hot. That's good. That means whatever he wants, nobody going to stop him. And I've seen people, when something he needs to get done, it's going to get done. צריך להתרגל לעצור את רוחו להתיישב היטב מקודם על כל דבר מעשה רוצה לדבר או לעשות. If a person comes from that part of the group of to being very hearted person, angry person, he says before he needs to think very, very good whatever he's going to say or whatever he's going to do. He cannot make quick decisions. Quick decisions is most of the people are failing. Quick decisions. Want to do quick. When it comes to Torah, we have to do everything quick and fast. That's why he says, Shlomo HaMelech says, they came to him, lazy person, and he says, Lech el nemala. He says, go to the ant. You know those little things, black things, ant. And he says, go learn from the chokhmah. What kind of chokhmah can you learn from ant? Shlomo HaMelech, the smartest man in the world. Shlomo HaMelech, the king of the world. Oh, he tells to the people, he says, go to the Nemala, go to the ant. Yes? Soon. So, Lech le Nemala, he says, go to the ant and learn some wisdom. He says, what can I learn from the ant? He says, many things. Ant, how many years is living? 6 months. How much is he collecting? 300 years. He's all the time collecting. He says, don't be like an emala. He says, don't be like an ant. He only lives 6 months, but he's collecting for 300 years. That means eat what do you have and continue working. But what is he thinking? He's thinking, maybe I have a hope. I'm not going to live 6 months. Maybe I'm going to live 6 years. He has a hope. That's why he's collecting. If there's no hope in a person, he would never collect. He says, Lecha nemala. Go to him. He says, learn from him. So what we're thinking? We're thinking we're gonna collect, okay, one day we're gonna leave this world, but I don't think I'm gonna leave it yet. So the Chachamim says, the second thing Shlomo HaMelech says, Zaris. He says, he's very fast and quick. When they go together, two ants going together, they don't cross from each other. They always give each other a way and a path. So Chachamim says, don't cross each other. Don't steal from each other. Don't do things that you're not supposed to be doing. Learn from them. He says, they will be successful. But people thinking only me. Only me. If I eat, nobody else eats. Jealousy. I'm not jealous. Let's take a look at it. We're going to open the whole heart it's full of that. The third thing the Chachamim said, Lo katzin v'lo shoter v'lo melech. He says the ant does not have a police watching after them. They don't have a king. They have nobody watching after them. And Chachamim says, Al tiyeh nemala. Don't be an ant. Be a human. A ant was created like this. But you are human, Hashem gave you a choice. Most of the times, we get to the situation. You know, back then, they had a lamp. Right? They had a lamp. You know, you make a light from the gasoline, right? They have a light. And from that light, right? That's how you made a light. It's a lamp from the glass. In the bottom, you control it. So one time a fly goes inside. And he's getting hot. He's getting hot. He's hitting this glass. He wants to come out. He can't come out. He's going to the right side. He can't come out. He's going to the left side. Getting hotter. Cannot come out. Going back. Glass, he wants to come out. Too hot already. He's about to die. What happens? You go in all the corners. He cannot come out of the glass. And he died inside the lamp. This is mashal nimshal. Chachamim says, Al tiyeh zvuv. Do not be a fly. Rak lemala. Just you need to look upstairs. Don't look downstairs. Don't look to the sides. Just go up. All you need to do is go up. But that's where you came from. But the person says, no. The right. Left. And he says, Al tiyeh zvuv. Don't be a fly. Rak HaKadosh Baruch Hu yachol la'azor. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu able to help. But we are with the mind is unbelievable. The mind says this way. It's getting harder. This way, it's getting harder. You're going to die inside. It's not thinking. Al tiyeh zvuv. Don't be a fly. Rak HaKadosh Baruch Hu yachol la'azor. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's why Rabbi Mordechai every morning says, and that pasuk is touching me so much. He says, Aviv, in the Tehillim, in the Perek 27, pasuk Yud. He says, your father and your mother are going to leave you. You're reading in the pasuk in the Tehillim. David HaMelech says, Aviv imo azavuni v'Hashem yasafuni. He says, my father and my mother left me and HaKadosh Baruch Hu picked me up, lift me. Chazal have many pirushim, many introduction in this. David HaMelech says, my father and my mother left me and Hashem picked me up. Chazal says, one of the interpretation, he says, after 120 parents leave the child, who is he left with? He lived like with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What happened with parents? They're gone. That's one of the pirushim. The second, he says, when a father and a mother make relationship, a mitzvah, they turn around from each other. And he says, that zera, that seed that is supposed to be created, Hashem picked me up and Hashem made me to be in my mother's stomach. Did he not help me? So what do we have to do? We have to get connected. How are we going to get connected? Only through the Torah. Avodah of the Torah. Avodah, which just means the work of the Torah. And the work of the Torah is not easy. I'm going to tell you this much. Nobody tells you it's easy. You want to have Olam Haba full of package? I want to own a business, $100 million. What should I do? I'm going to sit in a home. I'm going to be in the phones, and that's it. I'm going to make $100 million. Is it possible? Most of the times not. You're not going to make it. What do you need to make a business $100 million? You have to run. You have to work. You have to worry. Every time you eat, you worry. What is going to do? What's going to happen? Building department call me. Fire department call me. I got over there. Okay, this guy he took money from me. He didn't give me. My relative wanted me because I have so much money. I cannot go to the parties because they look at me like I'm a rich. They're going to ask me for money. That's what the person thinking. All the time thinking. He says a person wants to be successful. Success only comes when a person invests in Torah. Investing, which just means learning without being tired. כאשר יקל הבלבול, העצה, להתרגל להיות במנוחת נפש, לאוחז תמיד עצת הרמב"ן. Ramban says, ראוי להתרגל מאוד במנוחת נפש. You have to have a peace of mind. Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman says, a person have to have peace of mind. What kind of peace of mind? לאוחז תמיד עצת הרמב"ן. לכן לבנו, Ramban writes a letter to his, this is the letter, the book that I gave you. This is the book. It says, כל דבריך יהיה בנחת לכל אדם תמיד. He says, speak to everybody calmly. And that book has a segula. Every day if a person says Igeret Rambam, it calms him down. If he understands what he says over there. He writes to his son letter, Ramban. He says, please speak to every person, banachat. Nachat, which means soft, with the respect. ההרגל מטובו טוב מובהל על הרע ולעצל. He says a person has to be careful not to be lazy. Why a person does what he does? Because he's lazy. Because he doesn't see chas v'shalom over here. When he learns Torah, he doesn't see right away effect. He does see effect. Chachamim says he becomes more human. He becomes more how to be affected. Then we're going to say, listen, I know a lot of religious people, they're not this, they're not that. Masechet Sotah, page 52. The higher the person in the level in the Torah, the bigger his Yetzer Hara is. Don't think the Gedol Ador, which means the greatest rabbi, he does not have a Yetzer Hara. His Yetzer Hara even greater than anybody's Yetzer Hara around the people. Ha'etzah yitragel ba'et atfilah. He says, let me give you a good advice when a person praying. Why when a person praying, I need to take my kids to school. Magen Abraham, who is my daughter is getting married to. Melech Hozer Moshiach Magen. Oh, I forgot to buy cucumbers in the store. This is what is he thinking? While when he steps 3 steps, we have to tell him Mazal Tov of everything that he taught. I'm going to go to this guy, I'm going to make this transaction, I'm going to do this. Many things coming to his brain when he's praying. Why is that? Why is that? Rabbi Nachman of Breslov has a beautiful pshat on this. He says, his sin does not let him go, his prayer to go up. Because he's right now channel between him and Hashem. And everybody, every thought, every Yetzer Hara wants to go upstairs because through him he's only able to go upstairs. So what's the Rabbi Saba Mikelem says? He's going to give us advice how to properly pray. He says you should not think about anything inside the prayer. It's impossible, you're going to say. It's impossible. Everything that I do, it's impossible. I have all the time. Listen, I had a partner meeting today. Maybe I'm going to make millions today. Oh, I'm going to go to this guy. I'm going to speak like this. And he spoke very differently, whatever he spoke. Right? Vilna Gaon has something scary. Vilna Gaon says, somebody thinking in a prayer, business transaction. Let's say in a couple hours he has a business transaction. And he says, I'm going to say this. He says that business transaction always going to fail. He's never going to make it, he says. Even if he's going to make it, but he's going to push away to many months. For example, if a person wants to ask something from his parents, a little child, buy me ice cream. What are you going to say? Daima speak. I'm not even going to buy you, correct? So what we're doing, we're pushing it. So what a person has to do over here, how is supposed to control his mind inside the prayer? לבד מה שהוא עומד לפני יודעי מחשבות והקרוב לב בוחן כליות. הקדוש ברוך הוא knows what's happening in our heart, in our brain. זולת זה כי להתלמד מנוחת נפש. He says the reason he's thinking all the things that he's thinking, because he's not calm. He does not have a peace of mind. Because he's always running in a mind. בלי מנוחת נפש אי אפשר שלא לחשוב מחשבות אנה וננה מתחה את חס ושלום. He says if a person does not have a peace of mind, he could never in his life able to pray properly. He's always going to get pushed off from one corner to another in his brains. כאשר עיקר הבלבול בעבודה הוא פיזור הנפש. He says the reason he has a problem, but he's confused when he's working for Hashem, because his neshama is all over. תראה לתת דעתו בעת התפילה לא ידבר אחר אפילו במצווה. He says don't speak during the prayer and don't speak after the prayer. This is one advice. תחשוב שכלך, משפט לחשוב באיזה עניין צריך שעה דווקא. העצה יצא להניח במרוצה. He says, let me give you advice. עצת הראש באורחות חיים. דע, דבריך באוזני צדק תשקול. He says, everything that you say, you're supposed to be put on a משקל. משקל, which means on a scale. שמה מדבר, מה יעשה, ישקול קודם באוזני שכלך, איך ידבר ואיך יעשה. Over here, הראש באורחות חיים, עוד כ"ט, he says following. שמה שמדבר, מה יעשה, ישקול. He says, before you speak, or before you're going to do any transaction, or any deed, you're supposed to be put on a scale. What kind of scale? He says, the scale comes from the brains. אז דבר קשה למיעוט ערכו, כי אמרת ניסה, בתפילה 3 ראשונות, ברכת המזון. העצה עצות. Now he's going to give us advice how to pray properly ברכת המזון, how to pray properly inside the prayer. הסבא מכלם לכוון בתפילות מילה קודם מוציאה בפה. He says, how a person is supposed to be properly concentrated. He said, following like this. He's giving us advice. Before we're going to say Baruch, we need to have the Baruch in mind. Blessed. That means you need to have the letters inside the mind. קודם מוציאה מפה, עבדי עצה לנצל במבהילות, לשייך ללב עם הדיבור. He says, each person, when he's speaking to Hashem, where it says Baruch, he needs to think before he's going to say Baruch. He needs to have these letters in his brains. Once he has these letters in the brain, then comes out from his mouth, then he's able to concentrate. Why one of the things we cannot concentrate in a prayer? Because we don't know the translation of the prayer. If we knew the translation of the prayer, with the pirushim, with the commentaries, the prayer will be different. The thought will be different. If we're going to take the Siddur, one of the Siddurim of the, even Avodat Hashem, which just means working for Hashem, there's a Siddur. Understand Pirush Milim. Understand the literal translation of the words. The reason we don't feel it, because it's thinking it's the same thing. What I'm thinking, Baruch Ata Hashem, Elokeinu ve'Elokei Avotenu. Okay, the forefathers of my Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. What do I have to think? I don't know. Abraham is my grandfather. Yitzchak is my grandfather. Yaakov Avinu is my grandfather. What do I have to think? I don't know. How much time do we put to translate each prayer in each word? In our life, how much do we invest? How much time we invest? 10 years in one prayer? How many years? You see, take a Siddur from Modeh Ani Lefanecha, Melech Chai Vekayam. How many times of us went and we said Modeh Ani Lefanecha? What does it mean, Modeh Ani Lefanecha? Why that prayer has to be? Thank you, Hashem. Lefanecha, Melech Chai Vekayam. You're the king of all the kings. Huh? Yes. Huh? So the reason we have to either make a classes of how to get the prayer properly prayed. There's a books on it. Yes. No. Go sit next to Shalom, please. So the question they've been asked, how a person able to connect to Hashem, he needs to have a classes. If he does not have classes, just forget about it. For example, I'm not telling you that I have a gava on this. But Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. How many? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. 6 words. 6 words. We're learning already 8 months. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. 8 months. Shema Yisrael, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu. 8 months. 8 months, I could build a building, brand new house for 8 months. What I'm doing over here. That means the connection is different. Why the connection is different? Because we're not connecting to the prayer. It's different when you're learning something and you continue adding to something. But if you're learning something quick what's going to happen? Things going to happen quick. You're going to forget quick. So a person needs to have a special for the prayer to get connected to the prayer. That's another class. He needs to have a classes. I'm not telling you 8 months. At least 8 hours. The whole prayer to take 8 hours. To spend 8 hours. No, through the whole Siddur, let's say 8 hours. Like you ask people, right? You Baruch Hashem already coming, second or third. Ask people, do you know what you're praying? Says, yeah, look, Abraham, Yitzchak. That's a translation. But you know what's behind the translation. No, I don't know. So how are you praying? I'm praying because I used to it. Everybody else does it, I'm doing it. So the Chachamim said, you have to take it and you have to learn with it. Once you learn, you're able to connect. If we're not learning, we're not able to connect. So what means I'm learning? Listen, I read Tehillim over here, I read Chumash over here. Yeah, come on. Take one thing from Tehillim. One thing. One pasuk. And all the time work on that pasuk. Tehillim 144. It says the life passed by like a shadow. You know shadow? Just take one thing from Tehillim, the life passed by like a shadow. The Chachamim says, what kind of shadow? The shadow of the bird. Why bird? When a bird passed by, the shadow passed by fast and quick. What about the shadow of the house to the sun? Not so quick. The Chachamim says, that's how passed by the life of the person. Quick, fast, and one day we just depart from this world. If he's keep thinking about that, he's going to do everything in this world possible. Every package and luggage, everything he needs to do, he's just going to collect and collect and collect without having any time. One verse from the Tehillim. 3 words over there. What kind of verse? The life passed by like a shadow. Do we really feel the life passed by like a shadow? No, we say we have another day tomorrow. But why David HaMelech says this? Because he says a person does not have time in this world. Each one of you were yesterday 2, 3 years old, 20 years old. Today you're already grandfathers, some of you. How does it happen? Because the time is passing by fast and quick. העצה יצא להניח ממרוצה, עצת הראש. העצה יוצא אדמו"ר סבא מכלם לכוון תפילת כל הקודם שמוציא פיו. זה די יצא להציל בבהילות ולהשך ללב עם הדיבור. He says when a person before he says anything, when he prays, at least he needs to have the letters, he needs to have the image of the letters every word that he's saying. For example, Baruch, he needs to have the letters Baruch in his brain before it comes out his mouth. But listen, Rabbi, I need to pray quick and fast. I'm going to catch the Chazan. He needs to say Nagdishach. Don't worry about the Chazan. Prayer is not a horse chasing. It's not OTB. OTB, which means tracking, racing. Who is faster? Who is quicker? The quicker I am, the better I am. The worse you are. How do you know you say proper words within 3 minutes? What did you say? What did you say to the king? Nothing. I just spoke to him. How did you speak to him? I spoke to him properly. Don't think in a prayer, the faster we do, the better we are. No, brothers. No. It's not the best. What about when a person learning? How are we supposed to be learned? Says the worst thing a person when he's learning, when he's confused. What means confused? He says the most essence of a human is the da'at, a knowledge, understanding. Selem Elokim. He was created in the image of Hashem. He says each one of us, we need to accept upon ourselves. When we're learning, we should not have phones. When we're learning, we should not eat. We should only concentrate on learning. And should separate from the world. Separate from everything that we happen and everything that happens. Million things go through the brain. I'm sitting over here, I'm learning. People make a lot of money. One of my students now, he came to yeshiva with a bag of the books. Rabbi, why am I here? Look at the whole world is running, making money. I'm sitting here a couple hours learning over here. Am I doing something wrong or right? I said, listen to me. I said, start a little bit slowly by slowly. Tomorrow I'm never probably gonna see you after 80 years. When you take something, you start slowly, shortly, but maturely, and properly. And he says, listen, Rabbi, you don't believe me. In a couple years, I'm going to take the Rosh Yeshiva seat. I said, yes, I'm going to prepare for your coffee. I will clean over here. Whatever you want to do. I'm here a couple years myself. I will prepare everything for you. You're going to be the Rosh Yeshiva in a couple years. You're going to take his place by Yizrat Hashem. Yes, you're going to do this. He says, believe me, trust me. I says, yes, I believe you and trust you. I haven't seen you. I haven't seen him in 2 days. That's what the person is. Is all confused, mibulbal, does not have a path. I said, don't do this. You will fail. Don't do this. Don't you think you're going to sit for 8 hours the first day? It will take time. It will take savlanut, patience. Patience is a success. We're not patient. And that's what a person has to work on, a patience. We want results right now. You understand? Why are you making faces? You never seen such a thing? Yeah, people come, they're in different minds. Right? It's a good, he's starting somewhere. You know, it's good that he wants to become Rosh Yeshiva. I'll make a coffee for him, I have no problem. Yeah, me, for him, yeah. I told him I would do it for him. Yes, and I will clean his yeshiva also. Why not? If he becomes Rosh Yeshiva. Alevai. כאשר ידע הזיג מקור משחת לאדם, מקור אדם הוא דעת, הוא הצלם אלוקים, וזאת קיבלנו עלינו, למטרה קבענו ללמוד בכל יום שעה אחד רצופה בהגייה ועיון, לגלגל יזוס איננו מידר לימודו. He says if he has certain time that he has to learn, he has to make that time, 1 hour a day, make sure he's going to make it. בלי להפסיק בדיבור, he cannot speak. He cannot speak. Hi, how are you? What's happening? You heard the Parashat Shavua. He's mingling over here, he's drinking the coffee here, he's bothering over there about 1 hour. What if כאשר יתבלבל מתוך לימוד, מחשבה אחרת יותר מ50 דקות. He says, what if a person learning 1 hour? 1 hour is learning, and he says 5 minutes pass by, he's getting confused. He's thinking about that, he's thinking about another thing. What he should do? אז קביעות זה בטלה צריך להתחיל משעה חדש. He says, if he's thinking something within 5 minutes, something wrong, that is confused, not has to do with the learning, he needs to start everything from beginning. So again, if a person is learning 1 hour, learning, which means not just sitting and catching flies inside the Bet HaMidrash, which is there's no flies, and he's sitting, pay attention to this, pay attention to that, pay attention to that guy that's screaming, the other guy comes in, just slams the book on he doesn't pay attention. Once he does not pay attention, 5 minutes, if he has his mind, what's going to happen to my son? I forgot to put him in a school box tomorrow. What's going to happen? Tomorrow's Thanksgiving Day. He has no bus services. Right away, he broke everything. He needs to restart again. Once he's going to train himself, then he becomes better. That's called learning. But when we're learning, it's not nobody gonna run. Nobody gonna run. What happened before the phones? Nothing gonna happen. You know, God forbid, you don't work in a chatzala. You're not a chatzala. Even the chatzala guy comes to the yeshiva, they turn off their radios, they're sitting and learning. Every day chatzala guy is coming. Without walkie-talkie. Just coming and sitting and learning. So we have to pay attention to everything we do. Every deed that we do. We have to prepare ourselves. He's giving us advice. Somebody texts me. You're supposed to come here. He probably forgot that he missed the house. So each one of us, we have to prepare how to learn. Saba Mikelim give us advice how to learn. Nobody taught us how to learn. Okay, we're coming, we're listening to shiur. This rabbi comes in, this guy. But how to do it? Everybody says to do it, but how? This is the proper way to do it. If a person does like this, he's able to go and he be successful in his learning and everything he does. And that's the most important thing. Okay, by Yizrat Hashem, next time I'm going to see you, I want that you know all the Tehillim by heart. By Yizrat Hashem Yitbarach, listen to me. If there's a way, and there's a ratzon, a will, anything could happen and everything could happen. By Yizrat Hashem. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. Thank you for coming. May Hashem bless you for every blessing in the Torah. V'chen yaratzon v'nomar amen.